Welcome to the Mitten Kitchen. I'm Amy, and today we are making a fondue inspired dinner. We're having a cheese fondue with all the fixings, and for dessert we're having a chocolate fondue with all the sweet treat fixings for that as well. So join me in the kitchen today as we attempt to make fondue. I'm a little nervous, I've never done this, but I'm really excited. So I have only one fondue pot, but I've done a lot of reading that we can use this tiny little crock pot for the chocolate portion. So that's what we're gonna use. I am gonna go ahead and turn this on. Let's do high right now because we want it to melt. We're gonna dump in our chocolate. This is just semi-sweet chocolate chips. We're gonna add in some vanilla. We're gonna add in some salt. And then we're gonna add in some heavy cream. I'm just gonna add a little bit right now to get it started, and then we can always add more throughout the process. That is as easy as the recipe makes it sound. So we'll actually see if it starts to melt and we'll know. It actually is already melting on the bottom. So that's a great start. So we'll go ahead and put our lid on and keep checking on this while we make our cheese fondue. That's an easy little gadget right there. So next up, we are gonna go ahead and start shredding our cheese. So I have a variety of different cheeses that I requested. One is Alpine cheese, and I bought the blocked version versus the already pre-shredded for all of these cheeses. Now the reason being is there's like a coating put on already shredded cheese, and so this will help it melt better if we shred it ourselves. And I just got this grater. We're gonna go ahead and give it a try. So this is the Alpine cheese. I thought this would be a really fun dinner. I'm gonna have my parents over, and then our son I thought would just have so much fun dipping everything and anything in both the cheese and the chocolate fondue. Now for some of the dips, or the dippings, the fixings, we'll have our radishes from the garden. We have some spring onions. We have some broccoli. So a lot of different veggies. And for more of the sweet, we have like pineapple and strawberries and pretzels and all that kind of yummy stuff. So I'm really excited. Now we've gone to like the Melting Pot before, which is obviously a really famous fondue restaurant. And they just make that experience so fun. So I'm hoping I can replicate that kind of flavor and that experience at home. The one that we're not doing is obviously the broth. I thought like raw meat at home. We'll leave it to the professionals at the Melting Pot for that one. Next step for shredding, we're gonna go ahead and shred this fontina cheese. Now when I was buying the cheese, I made sure the weight of the cheese was exactly what we were already looking for. So that just made my life a little bit easier so I don't have to like weigh it before I shred it. I already did that while I was at the store. So this is a softer cheese, so we'll see how this shreds. It's very soft. Kind of reminds me of like a Munster. Or like a mozzarella maybe? So I got this grater at Home Goods. It was a really good buy. And I like that it's like a hexagon style. I think it's hexagon, pentagon, I don't know, something like that. And so there's a lot of different cuts or shreds that you can have for your cheese. Okay, we got our fontina and the Alpine all nicely in here. Next up, we're gonna go ahead and shred some Gouda. Next up, we have some Gouda cheese. I think this is gonna be a really nice variety of cheeses that will just melt really nicely too. So just take off that wax coating. That was super easy. And we're just gonna keep shredding. Yeah, like I said, I like all the different varieties of the cheeses that this recipe is called for. There's also some wine in it. So you know it's just gonna be really flavorful cheese that will be really fun with the different fixings, I think. It's coming together really easy. I think the biggest thing will just be washing all the vegetables and getting those nicely presented on our trays for the dinner tonight. So far the shredding of the cheese is actually quite relaxing. I'm not gonna lie, this is pretty relaxing. I've only done like Parmesan, you know, and I've been wanting to do this more because I've heard it's better, you get better cheese this way, right? Than just buying it already pre-shredded. You get more variety of cheese. You know, because sometimes the shredded cheese, it's kind of basic, right? It's like cheddar or Swiss. Actually, I don't even know if you get Swiss, right? Okay. Look at all that cheese. We just have one more to do. And we have to have some classic orange. So this is just some cheddar cheese that I had used at a different meal. And just like that, we have all of our cheese for our fondue. So let's go ahead and stir our chocolate, and then we will make our cheese fondue and then start getting all the fixings ready for the chocolate and the cheese. This is coming together really nicely. Let's go ahead and stir that chocolate. It is melting at the bottom, so I think it should be good if we just keep letting it go. See how it's getting all melty? This should be perfect by dessert time. What an easy way to make this fondue. Look at that meltiness. So yummy. Okay, we're just gonna keep stirring it here and there, it said, and it will be ready in no time. Let's go ahead and get our cheese fondue going. Okay, this is too good not to share. So I asked my mom if she had a fondue pot because I remember doing it growing up. Like she kept hers from like her time frame. And she's like, yeah, I have a fondue pot. And I neglected to open the box until already buying all the supplies, arranging this dinner. And I opened it up and it's this fondue pot. This is supposedly where the cheese goes. Did you see all that amount of cheese I just shredded? It's not gonna fit in here, that's for sure. And so then I just spent like 5 minutes on my phone trying to figure out how to use this thing because I'm like, I'm not sure how to use this. And it sounds like this is like where the meat would have gone if you did like a meat one. And then this is like the cheese and the chocolate. I'm nervous. This is not gonna fit the cheese. So we can attempt to make this. I kind of wish I made the cheese in that little tiny crock pot. That would have fit better than the chocolate in here. But oh well, we are committed to what we are committed to, and that's all we can do. So let's see if this thing works, right? I think it's a no-go, guys. This is like steaming and it smells in here. We're gonna do the saucepan method. This seems dangerous to me. So I'm gonna unplug it, and it does not smell well. I don't know if this is just, you know, it's an ancient, it's vintage, and we just need to let that be and acknowledge that, and that's okay. We're moving over into the saucepan method. That has me cracking up. That is so funny. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and add into our saucepan some white wine. I like to show these parts because I know a lot of times cooking can be intimidating. And it just doesn't need to be, right? It does not need to be intimidating. It does not need to be taken too seriously. I mean, this is like half the fun, right? Is just enjoying the process, enjoying the craziness, because in all honesty, like, what do? There's no other option. I have a dinner planned and it's gonna happen, and we just gotta pivot. And so we'll do saucepan, which is totally fine. So I'm adding in some garlic. And next up is some lemon. Okay, we're gonna let this come up to heat, and then we'll start adding in the cheese nice and slowly. Okay, we're gonna add in nice and slowly our cheese, like a couple handfuls at a time. Give that a mix. We're just going to keep adding in. Oh yeah, this is going to be good. Look at that. Slowly stirring that cheese. Making our way. Going to add in the rest. We'll keep adding in the rest. Probably just turn it down a little bit. It's looking real good over here. Give it a nice stir. Things are melting real nicely. It smells heavenly. It smells like fondue up in here. Let's just keep adding in. Looks really good. Definitely get nicely incorporated. And then next, while this is still melting, we're gonna add in some Dijon mustard and some smoked paprika. Might need to get the whisk out. I'm just checking on our chocolate over here while the cheese is still melting. And this is nearly melted. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn this to keep warm. And I'm gonna add in the rest of the whipping cream. And this should make it nice and velvety and definitely more loose. Right now it's very thick, almost like fudge. And so this should make it nice and creamy and much easier for our dipping. And here's the pot that we will not be using. So I'm just gonna let this kind of incorporate itself as it starts to continue to melt, and we'll just mix it in as we keep checking it. Back over to our cheese. I'm gonna add in some of the Dijon mustard and a little bit of smoked paprika. And we'll give that a nice stir. I think that will have a really nice flavor base right there. It smells so good. And so while those keep warming, we're gonna start working on all of our fixings for dipping into the fantastic fondue that we have coming up. So I have these fun platters that I thought would be really fun to put all of our fixings on for the fondue. So I have a fun bell pepper here that we're gonna use. So we'll give these a nice slice and just put these really nicely on the plate. Just gonna arrange our red peppers on the plate. Something like that. Next up, we will add in some of our baby carrots for a nice color there as well. We're gonna add in some of our asparagus. Just kind of doing a fun variety of colors. Next up, I have some of our heirloom tomatoes. Little fun tomatoes. Next up, we have some homegrown radishes. So that's super fun. These are from the garden. One I wanted to show you, look at this one. It's so funky looking. It's like 3. So I thought those would be really good with the cheese fondue as well. Next up, I have some broccoli. Lots of broccoli. Lastly, we're gonna add in some of our onions. And we'll stir up our chocolate. It's getting nice and melty. Wow, look how luscious that looks. Look at that, that looks amazing. Might turn it up to low just to keep melting those chips versus the keep warm. Okay, on to our fixings. Next, we're moving on to the fixings for the dessert. I got these fun marshmallows. Look at how fun those look. Fun colors, very spring-like. Then I have some gluten-free pretzels. Because who doesn't love a salty sweet treat? Then I have a banana. Some strawberries. Last couple items, we have some pineapple for our dessert, 2 different types of bread for the cheese. I have a sourdough with all-purpose flour and then sourdough with einkorn. And that is about it. So that is our fondue dinner. We have our chocolate fondue, our cheese fondue with all of the fixings. So let's go ahead and give it a try. Gonna take a red pepper into the cheese. Ooh, sure is melty. Mmm. That flavor is delicious. Let's go ahead and try the chocolate with a pretzel. So good. So what a fun dinner that we have planned today. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was really fun to switch it up on a weeknight dinner, have fondue versus anything else. So thanks for joining me in the kitchen today. here at Mitten Kitchen. I'll see you next time. Bye everyone.